Vector van el.
Stabilize.
Hogy ez véd? Aha.
Shudder.
Végső.
More speed.
Let me try my blade.
Rack and ruin. Eyes on me. No touching. Blaze over. We're way behind schedule.
Taste my blade.
But my contract goes
What?
unfulfilled. More speed.
Gather. I will have order. Suffice. Gather.
Yeah.
Cut down. Like this.
Be fogok halni. Nem enged tovább a izé. Van a szíli.
Beg for mercy. More speed. Shudder.
And over.
Beg for mercy.
Cut down. Like this.
De asztaladon van. Oh shit.
One day, I'll be as great as Ryuji. Let's see. Where's the Why are you doing this?
Precisely. The children not.
That must be the guy Ayaka. More speed.
Let's get down to business.
Crush.
More. You know a thing or two. Hardly. No.
More speed.
Meg érdekes ez a sidequest. Pila smrti je. Ilyen fejtik, hogy van Wing Glider.
More speed. Time to scout.
Holnap jön elvileg.
Let me try my... One strike will suffice. Cheap tricks. Gather. You win. This battle.
A prés ez a...
strength will suffice. Stabilize.
Shudder.
This will do.
Shudder.
Cheap tricks. You win.
All hail. Access denied. Power that ended Python. Flood of frost. Crush.
Hootas.
Na én is. Ennyi jót. Elvégeztem a Sakura cleansing-et.
Back off!
May the blossoms of the sacred sakura bloom eternally.
If you want my opinion, it's clear that Tejima had done nothing wrong, and still they confiscated his I can't claim to. Truth be told,
Seems like he's a well-respected...
You must also be here to try and convince Tejima. Tejima has protected this place, keeping out the treasure hoarders, fending off any monsters that draw near, resolving. But now, all of a sudden, we will gladly apologize if that.
You must be Tejima. So what's made you want to up and leave all of a sudden?
Me? It's not a question of why I want to leave, but a question of what reason I would have to stay. True, but that's not why I chose to stay here. And what made me want to come here 30 years ago? And why have I never wanted to leave in all that time? I don't have answers to those questions because I can't remember anymore. Ever since they took my vision away in the past, I knew I wanted to stay here. But
Okay, As if you can't remember and... Oh! Maybe if you just try a little harder to remember...
Oh, that reminds me. Last time I brought Tejima some fruit, I do believe...
I keep a diary?
Oh, yes, yes, you do. And what's more, I remember you saying at the time that you wanted to make a note of a few interesting things. Things which would prove...
Perfect! So if we want to...
If you don't mind, we will leave you to find the diary. We should head back to the...
One day, I'll be as great as Ryuji.
This looks like Tejima... Let's see what... Today, the villagers and I got together to cook dry braised salted fish. I messed up and burned mine a little, so I had to pretend that it was black snakehead instead. Today, I helped rescue a kid who had fallen in the water. After I pulled him out, he told me that his best friend Bamboo was still in the water. I searched the water the whole afternoon before finding out that Bamboo was the name of his pet crab. I went kite flying today. The string broke, so I chased after it as fast as I could. I soon realized I was never going to get it back, so I just found somewhere to sit and watch as it flew away. Seems like you're at... Huh? I went to pray at the shrine again today and stayed there a while. The omamori you gave me has faded a little, but it is still my... Now that's the kind of info we're looking for! Time to pay a visit to the... So this is the interesting. Looking at the color and the design. But anyway, if he had this with him all the time... Here we are! This seems to be... The soil looks like it's been disturbed. Must be something... It looks like a letter. Konda Village. Sounds so familiar. Where is that place again? Huh. But he's been here for 30 years. Well, let's go get...
Well, I'll be. That's certainly my handwriting. And I guess the Omamori and... But I have no... Still, it's clear that I was waiting for someone here, and that I chose to wait for 30 years. Over the years, I must have made a note of anything interesting. And just look at all the things that did happen over the... How could I have forgotten something so important to me? Love, regret, everything I felt for her. No, after all, I've forgotten who she was. It's as if she'd never been in my life to begin with. I think... Although, what if she were to turn up eventually, only to find I didn't remember so much as her... When I think about it like that, how curious. Why am I thinking like this when I don't even remember who she is? It's just like that feeling of emptiness. I shall remain here and keep...
Tejima seems to be dealing okay. But seems it's just like Ayaka and Toma were saying. If you lose your vision, that certainly explains. At least we were able to... According to Miss Kamisato, the second one who... Tenryou Commission is directly controlled by the Shogun. They're the ones responsible for maintaining law and... But why would they take action against one... Paimon doesn't get it. Huh? There seems to be some commotion over there. Let's go see what's happening.
I'll ask one more time. Do you intend to withhold this?
The entire clan is counting on that. How many times do I have to say it? I don't know anything about emergency.
You dare deceive us?
You samurai think you can just do whatever you please? The Tenryou Commission will hear of this.
Oh, huh?
What? We heard the commotion.
I see. This is Kurosawa. He's a samurai and a member. In the past, we'd simply ask him for provisions and everything would be delivered. Now, he's keeping the provisions for himself.
No one seems to care about. It's no wonder all the
This must be one of the people Ayaka asked. Maybe we should talk to Kurt.
I've never even heard of these. I don't know whether it's rumors or whether they're trying to. My own family can barely get by as it is. Now, if you'll excuse, that's the first bit of truth I've heard all day. The Shogun's army told me that I was unworthy of my vision. And they said I was slacking off in my work. Apparently, I'd even disappointed.
Well, that's strange.
To be perfectly honest, I don't seem to remember the All I know is that I would perform certain things every month. But I don't recall what, and it's not just that. I have this...
Does it have to do with the missing emergency?
I didn't take any. Like I said, to top it all off, my house was just raided by treasure hoarders. Which, if you don't believe me...
Huh. But we we should be able...
I wonder what's on the other side of the ocean.
Remélhetőleg ez elkezd egy WordQuest-et normálisan, és nem kell sokat. Treasure hoarderok.
We really outdid ourselves this time. All those samurai houses packed with goods. You haven't seen it. Today's just the beginning. You demand.
These seem like the treasure hoard...
Another test subject.
Nem lát.
You're open.
Picked the wrong test subject.
Oh, there goes all the Mora. Come on, boss. Not bad, kid. You ever think of joining the treasure hoarders? We could use someone Kurosawa. So he's the one who sent you after
So what did you...
food supply. I didn't want anyone else to see it, so I was planning on opening. But now that you've caught us, how about we make a deal? That little buck.
You've got a deal.
Huh? What the?
There's nothing in here, but
Yeah. And they all seem to be made out to the owner of a general... We better talk to this miss. As for you...
So, we redeem...
Shut it.
I owe you. Ha! Nem tudtam már, hogy mi ez. Kicsit változtatunk a partjén.
Want me to come along?
This is how it must be.
What?
Into the wind.
Beg for mercy.
Ó, itt majd 3000. Ki lesz? Másik. Azért majd szök. Arena.
Welcome to Tsukumomono Groceries. Or perhaps there's something you want to... Ah, so you're friends of Kurosawa, I take it?
Whoa! Let's not get ahead of... How did Kurosawa end up owing you so much
Let me think. Kurosawa would come regularly to purchase large quantities of foodstuffs. He'd always put the payment on his own account. However, the price of provisions began to skyrocket recently, and his salary was no longer enough to cover the cost. So, he started writing out IOUs to cover whatever he couldn't afford of the usual amount.
So that's how he was getting the... But why did he have to purchase a usual amount? If the price isn't...
Well, if you think about it, the citizens receiving the emergency provisions must have been carefully calculating how much they needed to sustain them each time. Kurosawa thought that it would be quite the disappointment for them if they found they didn't have enough, especially after such long and careful so he deemed it necessary to take on the debt rather than...
Wow. And no one...
People's attitudes will all... if you ask me, had Kurosawa told everyone the truth about the supplies from the start, then there wouldn't be such a... Of course, I'm sure there would still have been some unrest. What he was doing was true. As for why he chose to spend his own money on emergency provisions and never tell anyone, I'm still not too clear myself. If you're still curious, why don't you go ask him yourself? I see. That reminds... Most unfortunate. If he doesn't clear the debt on his name, he'll have no choice but to sell that sword that is so dear to him.
Sword?
Oh, didn't he tell you? I've asked him about its origins. He told me that it was a gift. In hindsight, I regret that I never made an offer on it. Everything has it. Why don't you ask him about this? Oh, but before you go, if...
But we...
Information is also a... Don't worry, I won't charge much.
At least we now know where... Let's go talk to... What are you doing here all by yourself?
I presented them with a choice. It turned out to be a real time saver, actually. Did you manage to track down the treasure hoarders?
That just about sums it up.
Strange. Is that really the kind of person I don't really have any such recollection. Why was I purchasing emergency provisions for everyone? And why would I put myself in such a difficult situation? But I could not deny that when I brandished my sword to scare those two away, I could sense that my body was somehow... This sword was once wielded. I remember once when I was young, I wanted to sneak out with the blade and show it off to the kids next door. What did he say? It would seem that I forgot all I can remember now is my father telling me that this blade bore his life's creed. Before he passed away, he placed the sword and said to me,
Hey, if you look carefully, there seems to be some words engraved on the hilt. Can you recognize the words?
virtue? And somehow those two words seem taking on seemingly endless debts to make others happy. I guess that must have been my greatest ambition, but what use are virtue and justice? I purchased the provisions for those in need. And look how... The Tenryo Commission seized my vision. And the very people I was so desperately trying to help. And the irony of all of it is, I somehow still felt I'm incapable of being a good person. Yet I'm equally unable to be...
Yet another trouble. When we get the chance, let's speak to Toma about Kurosawa's debt. In any case, we must never let him sell off that sword. Yeah. Seems, fortunately for us, let's go find the got their vision taken is supposed. Paimon heard that he's the president. This is his dojo.
Nanako, don't worry. Sensei will be fine. Those thugs that challenged the dojo were.
Maybe, but things have gotten dangerous.
It's just because he's.
Hey there!
Who are you? I don't care whether you're Don't make me draw my blade, or you.
No! You got it so wrong. We just came here to.
Disciples?
Yep. But then we got.
From the way you. Please, accept my apology. You haven't arrived at the best of times, I'm afraid. Sensei got possessed recently, and he's still recovering. I see you are earnest in your. Sensei's name is Domon. Though self-taught, he mastered the art of the sword to a high level. He then proceeded to defeat many other prominent sword masters. He once said that his goal was to become the best sword master in the world. And so, even while training us, he continued. But then.
Not long ago, Sensei had his vision taken away. He says the strangest things over and over, and he refuses to let us train. Junya and I have discussed it, and we both think that he's been possessed by an evil spirit. So, we've asked the shrine maidens from the Grand Narukami Shrine to perform an. But if I'm honest, I still have my doubts over whether he'll completely recover.
The Grand Narukami Shrine.
You haven't heard of it? It's the largest shrine on Narukami Island. The head shrine maiden is reputed to have very close ties with the almighty Shogun. Not that we'd have any means of involving the head shrine maiden, of course. But even one of the ordinary shrine maidens from the Grand Narukami Shrine would have clear power and authority to perform an exorcism. So don't worry, Nanako. Sensei is going. The exorcism will take place this evening.
So.
Shh. So you decided to come. It's a good thing you didn't arrive any earlier. Just now, when Nanako was attending to him, she heard him whisper when she asked him who the people were. It looked like he was in great distress. All the while he kept calling. One of them was Anzai. He used to be a fellow disciple of Sensei's. His senior, in fact. But since they defeated him, Sensei wouldn't stop calling his name. The ritual has now begun. Please, excuse.
Ugyanúgy néz ki, mint az első ember. Mi a fasz?
That's sneaking around. We won't let them get away with it. Seems they aren't here. Should we keep going further up? Is this definitely the right place? Let's look a little further up. Aha! Suspicious person sighted!
How? Are you sure? Unless. I guess it's been a few.
Excuse, and what are you doing?
Bad news? I'll have you know I trained side by side with Domon back in the day. Well, I don't care to talk about that time anymore. But if you must know, I am.
His senior?
Anzai. Yes, that's me. Because I don't wish to see Domon or anyone else associated with him. When we were young, we trained under this. I had begun training practitioners of Make-Yoshi Sui art, seek to achieve stillness of mind. But Domon was different. The first thing he did when he joined was go straight to our sensei and ask him, with a beaming smile on his face, how to. Sensei scolded him and told him that the art of the sword should not be used for such vain ends. Sensei said that coveting the title of the best sword master, barely days into his training, showed that he had a fickle mind, and that I thought so too at the time. But Domon began making swift progress in his training,
Only then did I realize that it was Domon who had lost. He was consumed by his singular desire to become the best in.
Sure sounds like he meant business.
Because until he arrived, I was convinced that I would succeed our sense of all the disciples. I was the most Domon's arrival. Later, after that I went. So, when I heard rumors that he had lost his mind, I decided to. So you see, I came here not to cause him any harm. Okay, you've heard my story.
Seems like still...
Does that mean he's just...
Nanako,
I'm sorry. With but spirit and all is...
Lady Yai...
The head shrine maiden of the Grand Naru... Correct. Lady Yai is most knowledgeable indeed. I am unable to...
Excuse me, Miss Inagi, but I must ask...
That won't be necessary. All that is required of you is your timely arrival at the Grand... I must leave now.
Who'd have thought Lady Yai herself would have taken notice of our sensei?
Do you mean to say that Sensei isn't
No, that's not what I meant at all. I just mean this is Lady Yai, the head shrine maiden. Anyway, given that you've traveled all this way just to meet our...
Sure! Who knows?
Ennyi már elég lesz, majd folytjuk holnap. Ennyi már elég lesz, majd folytjuk holnap. Ennyi már elég lesz, majd folytjuk holnap.